everyone, today in this video I'm excited to be checking out the Eureka Stylus Elite. This is a cordless vacuum cleaner with a self-emptying system that features built-in tool storage, anti-tangle technology on the brush roller to prevent hair wrapping, and we have up to 60 minutes of runtime with a removable and easily replaceable detachable battery. Eureka did send me this product and they are sponsoring today's video, but I want you to know that any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Here's a look at the retail box and packaging. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. First up, we have our user guide and manual, followed by an extra vacuum bag for our station. Next, you'll notice we have our detachable, removable battery right here, 29.6 volts, lithium ion. The battery capacity is 2,500 milliamp hours at 74 watt hours. Removable, nice release right there, labeled open for you. Next, we have a couple different vacuuming tools here, your typical crevice tool. And then we have a multi-purpose brush tool right here with the bristles, or if you want to use it without, you can adjust that very easily. Next, we have our main brush roller right here with our roller release. See it from all different sides and angles. Look at it from the very bottom. You can see that detangling design in there with the comb that they have. Built-in LED lights, Eureka Whirlwind branding on there. Next, we have a piece of our station right here that we'll have to assemble that has vacuum and tool storage. Then we have the main vacuum body here for our cordless vacuum. Then we have the vacuum unit in the station. Let's go ahead, let's look at those in more detail. Starting with the unit here, we have a piece of product literature that we removed that walks you through quick assembly instructions, self-emptying, and floor nozzle maintenance information. Then on the unit itself, this is the side profile with a lock and unlock icon here for the filter. We have our dust cup. Here's a look at the other side. We have our max indicator letting us know when the dust cup is full. We have our unlock and lock indicator again. We also have a sticker with Eureka's customer service and contact information right there for you. Here's a look at the underside where the battery is going to be installed. Here's a look at the grip handle. Up at the top, we have our controls, power, and mode buttons. We have our battery status indicator light right there and a dust cup release. Let's go ahead, let's release that dust cup. Everything comes off right here. We can pull this filter out. We can pull this out too to clean everything as we so choose. And then on this side, we have our manual release. If we ever need to manually empty the unit, we can do that right there with the dust cup. And here's a look at it with it removed. Now let's go ahead, let's unlock this. And that reveals the filter that you see right here to clean and replace as needed. There's a look at that with it removed. That leads us to our station. We have a couple parts and pieces we need to install here. Looking at the rest of the top though, we have our dust full indicator light right there. On this side, we have our dust bag that we can easily pull out to remove and replace as needed. Then the new bag's just gonna go ahead and pop right back in there. Just press it in place and shut the lid. Here's your side profile with a warning label. Be sure to read that before use. Here's the other side with integrated power cord and cable and HEPA air filter access. So you have the filter right down in here for easy cleaning and replacement as needed. And then we can just pop this cover right back on and it'll just snap shut. Here's a look at the back side. We got the Eureka logo and branding up at the top. Here's a look at the very bottom. Additional product information and 4 feet for the unit to rest on. Pay attention here too to the built-in cable management down at the bottom, and we can route this out either side of the unit. So that's a really nice and subtle touch. And then here's a look at the very front of the unit where the vacuum's gonna rest at the base at the bottom. Now let's get this set up. The station consists of 2 pieces. We have our base piece here, and then we have the top portion that we need to install right there. It's only gonna fit one way. You have 3 contacts here that are gonna slide and fit right in there. So make sure you have it lined up properly. Then it just slides down and snaps in place, and it's ready for us to add our vacuum cleaner as well as our tools and attachments. Let's get the tools added to the station. So just go ahead, line them up and you can slide them right in place for easy storage. And now to add our vacuum here, we got to get our vacuum set up. The vacuum consists of 4 pieces. We have our battery, our main handheld unit. So we'll go ahead, we'll slide that battery in. Then we have our main vacuum tube here. This also is only going to fit one way. These contacts and this piece down at the bottom, that's going to be what's going to attach to the 2 contacts you see in the main brush roller. So we have that section installed. And now we can attach the rest of the vacuum to that right there. And now we have a fully assembled and ready to go cordless vacuum cleaner. And then you can install the vacuum cleaner on the station like you see right here. Well, I should say like you see right here. And then you get a feel for the top portion of that right there. With the lights off in the studio, I wanted to show you how bright the LED lights are. Also wanted to highlight how capable this vacuum head is. Look at that rotation and swivel that we get on both sides. We can move this 180 degrees from that position to that position right there. And it's also designed for those hard to reach areas. Look at how low this unit is able to go without lifting the front of the vacuum head off the ground. Now let's get cleaning. So this is low, medium, and high. All right, we just finished our first clean. Let's take a look at our real world results. First, we'll look at the brush roller here. So far, so good. A little bit of dirt and dust and some fibers and threads built up along the sides, as you'd expect. It's really going to be agitating your floors. Side looks great, wheels look great. Now looking at it from the very bottom, we do have a little bit of hair tangled up right at the center. This does have your active detangling design, but we have a very hairy household. So 3 long-haired individuals and a long-haired dog as well too. So we're seeing some human hairs and maybe some longer shag rug fibers caught at the very center here. Maybe a smidge of buildup on the side, but not bad at all. We've seen this way worse just in our around the house cleaning. So we can definitely tell that detangling comb design has made a difference. Not sure if you can see down in the tube, but we do have some really fine dirt and dust starting to build up and collect in there as well. Looking at the dustbin, we got close to that max fill line right there. Really fine dirt and dust up at the top, tons of hair in here. We'll look at it from the other side as well. I see some carpet threads. We got a leaf right there, and then just your typical daily household contents. So we're gonna go ahead, let's open it up first, and then we'll dump it out. That is packed to the brim right there. Look at that really fine dirt and dust settling on the top of the cap, as well as getting caught up in the hair wad that we have. Here, look at all the contents. Again, I intercepted this before I put it back on the self-emptying base because I wanted you to see what it actually vacuums up here. So take a look at that. Amazing, amazing, super, really refined dust. It's like powdered sugar caked in there. Obviously, your pet hair, your crumbs, leaves, your typical household contents. You can expect something very similar if you have a lot of humans in your house as well as pets. So how does our Eureka Stylus Elite stack up against the competition? Well, let's find out. We'll be comparing it to over 20 plus cordless vacuum cleaners. We've built out a database of every cordless vac that we've personally tested. So we'll be comparing this to the average cordless vacuum cleaner. So first up, to give us that best frame of reference, is cost. What are we paying? And then we'll look at all the different features that we get compared to your typical average cordless vacuum cleaner, which in this case costs about $50 more than our Stylus Elite. So first up then is battery life. This is measured in minutes. We have a 60-minute runtime with our Stylus Elite. That's 8 minutes more than your average typical cordless vac. Next, we have bin capacity. This is measured in liters. We have a 0.6 liter dust bin, but we have 3 liters overall with the self-emptying station. So we got that vacuum bag in the system, so that really drastically expands the capabilities of this vacuum. As it stands, if you didn't have that base, you'd be looking at 0.1 liters greater than the typical cordless vacuum cleaner, but with that self-empty functionality, we blow it out of the water at 2.5 liters. And you guessed it, we already mentioned it, but what makes that possible is the dust collection station found on the Stylus Elite. Don't forget, we're paying $50 less than your average typical cordless vacuum cleaner, and that does not include the dust collection station. That's typically only found on premium cordless vacuum cleaners that are going to cost 2, 3, maybe even 4 times as much as this vacuum. That alone makes this so worthwhile. But wait, there's more. We haven't got to the performance of this vacuum and how it actually stacks up against the competition. So first up, max suction power. We measure this in-house. This is in kilopascals. 29, that's 10 points above the average and one of the highest that we've seen. Which leads us to rated power, another key metric to look at. This is in watts. The Stylus Elite has a 350 watt rated power. This is power to handle tough debris. Think along the lines of pet hair, right? So we're gonna have that great lifting power and capability driving everything in this vacuum cleaner. That's actually 30 watts below the competition. Next, we're looking at max CFM. Typically, just like the suction power measured in kPAs earlier, we want to see a higher result here. Usually that translates pretty well to a realistic, deep clean in our testing. We scored 32 CFM, just 1 point below the average of 33. So how did it actually do in our real world deep cleaning? We scored a 90 out of 100. That's only 4 points below average. Again, very good results. Realistically, a little bit below average, but I would argue for what you're paying for this vacuum versus the competition, it's a no-brainer. Slight decrease in cleaning capabilities, but you're saving a lot of money. And we can't forget to mention that this vacuum has a HEPA filter as well, so they didn't skimp on the important things. We found in our testing about 77% of cordless vacuum cleaners have a HEPA filter, so it's great to see that they're on the right side of this metric. And as an added bonus, they even have a thoughtful design for their anti-tangle brush. This doesn't mean you're not going to ever get any tangles. This is just designed and geared towards pet hair. So we did find that we had some longer carpet threads in human hair still stuck on the center of our brush roller. Again, that wasn't even that bad. We've seen way worse. But in regards to pet hair, we didn't notice any of our dog's long pet hair on this brush roller. It also has a 180-degree lay flat design. This isn't something that's very common on vacuums out there either, so very intentional design. Sometimes you'll see this incorporated in an extra accessory that basically has a hinge for 90 degrees so you can get up and under those hard to reach areas. It's nice that this unit just has it all integrated directly into its design where it can just lay flat on the ground as is. Next up is LED lights. According to our findings, about 72% of cordless vacuum cleaners that we've tested have built-in LED lights. This is definitely a very helpful and awesome feature to have. If you can choose to get one with LED lights, I highly recommend it. Whether or not you land on this vacuum, you'll thank me later if you get LED lights on your vacuum, but this does have LED lights and they are bright. Next, we got our max decibels. This is how loud the cordless vacuum cleaner is. So we always test this on max suction settings, vacuuming carpets. We peaked at 83 decibels. That's 3 decibels below the average, but it's not going to really be any noticeably quieter versus your typical cordless vac. In regards to weight, this comes in at 6.5 pounds. That's 0.1 pounds above the average. Same thing, just like decibels. This isn't going to be any noticeably heavier or lighter versus your average cordless vac. I'd say it's still on the lighter side overall. Very easy to handle and maneuver around. You won't find yourself getting any sort of arm or wrist fatigue. So where does that leave us in regards to the Eureka Stylus Elite? Well, let me share with you my final thoughts. Here's what you need to know at the end of the day. This is an above average performing and feature packed cordless vacuum cleaner at a below average price. So some of the best things about this vacuum are as follows. The self-empty, hands down, is going to be the top reason why you're buying this vacuum versus the competition. There really isn't any competition at this price point. Also, it's flexible, lightweight, easy to use, comes with multiple accessories, and it has a detachable battery, so you can swap multiple batteries and replace that as needed in the future. Also, that 180-degree lie flat design, very nice and well thought out. Now, what are some of the things that could be improved with this vacuum in the future? They are as follows. The first one is I've used a couple other self-empty vacuums, and when you put them on the station, they automatically empty. I like that feature. I don't have to deal with it. Just set it and forget it. This one you'll put on the station, nothing will happen. You have to press a button and then it will self-empty. Not a big deal, but just something I wanted to point out because some of you might appreciate having that feature like I do. Others of you might really enjoy having the button and having to press that and control when you want it to empty. Also, second thing is with this particular vacuum cleaner, it won't stand upright on its own. I found that very unusual. Discussing further with Eureka, they opted against the self-standing feature due to safety reasons. With its tall and thin design and a top heavy center of gravity, they opted to go with what they call their easy rest feature. With this feature, they designed a nook in the vacuum cleaner so you can place and rest it against objects around your house, helping to reduce the risk of the vacuum falling. But overall, a very capable and impressive cordless vacuum cleaner at a value you really just can't beat.